Welcome back to the DIY Video Studio, and today we're diving into the Canon RF 50mm 1.8 STM lens, or Canon's Nifty 50, and I'm going to include a few example shots that I took with that lens. It's one of the most versatile and affordable lenses in the RF lineup, but why did I switch from my trusty EF version to this newer RF model? Well, let's find out. To start with, the main reason was convenience. Consistently attaching and detaching the RF to EF adapter became quite a bit of a hassle. When I first got my EOS R camera back in 2018, the RF lens options were quite limited, so I got a mix of RF, EF and EFS lenses. This meant that the adapter was regularly in use, which added extra time to my lens changes and unnecessary length and weight to the lens setup. The RF version eliminates those issues, keeping the Nifty 50's compact and lightweight profile intact. Incidentally, if you want your own copy of this lens, I'll put links down in the description to some great deals that I've found online. Now, a significant selling point of this lens is its fast f1.8 aperture, which lets in a lot of light for a low ticket price. This makes it perfect for low light conditions and indoor shooting. For instance, I once used it at an evening event and it performed exceptionally well, even when the lights were dimmed for the disco. Image quality is another area where the RF model of Canon's Nifty 50s shines. While the difference between the EF and the RF isn't massive, the RF 50mm shows improved sharpness and contrast, particularly in the corners. And as you stop down the aperture, the improvement is faster on the RF model. At f4, the corners look good, and by f5.6, the entire frame is sharp, with excellent contrast. However, like most lenses, diffraction softens the image when you get to high f-stops or small apertures like f16 and f22. Another improvement of the RF Nifty 50 over the EF version is the reduced lens distortion. Although I always use in-camera lens corrections, it's nice to know that the RF version performs better in this regard if you ever were to turn off those corrections. One of the joys of a wide-open fast lens like the RF Nifty 50 is subject background separation due to depth of field. The closer you get to your subject, the greater the separation, leading to a pleasing background blur. While the bokeh balls on the RF may show some outlining, they are comparable to those on the EF version. In my opinion, this RF Nifty 50 is a true all-rounder. It's great for portraits, travel and street photography due to its small size and light weight. It helps to make this an unobtrusive or inconspicuous lens. It also works reasonably well for video, although the sound of the STM motor can be picked up by the internal mics on the camera. The autofocus is somewhat slow, and focus breathing can be a bit of a nuisance if you frequently perform focus pulls. Nonetheless, its small size and weight makes it perfect for use on a gimbal. Moving on to close-up shots, the minimum focus distance on the RF Nifty 50 is 30 centimeters, and at the risk of mixing my units, that's about 2 inches closer than the EF version's 35 centimeters. This allows for a maximum magnification of 0.25, providing decent close-up shots. For even greater magnification, you can of course add extension tubes. Like its predecessor, the RF Nifty 50 has a metal mounting ring, ensuring durability. Now, this is a welcome feature because some other Canon lenses like this EFS 10 to 18mm wide-angle zoom that has a plastic mounting ring, and I'm always hyper careful about putting this on and taking it off my camera for fear of damaging that plastic ring. Unfortunately, despite its many strengths, the RF Nifty 50 isn't perfect. For instance, it lacks optical image stabilization, but that's true also of the EF version. But at around £220, that's $220, it's still a fantastic deal. However, I would point out that the EFS 10 to 18mm lens at £250 does have optical stabilization. So it's a shame that the Nifty 50 hasn't been upgraded to having optical stabilization, even if it did mean that it went up a little bit. For me, the main drawback of the RF Nifty 50 is the combined focus and control ring at the front of the lens. Now, unlike other RF lenses, which have got, like on this 35mm f1.8, where you've got a control ring and a focus ring, and then a switch on the side that lets you switch between autofocus and manual focus modes. What you have on the RF Nifty 50 is you've got the one ring, and then you've got a switch that goes from control to focus. Now, when you put it into the focus position, you can use that ring to manually focus the lens, but you're not in manual focus mode. What you will be able to do, you can focus manually, but you don't get the tools that you need to make sure that you nail focus. For instance, you don't get the focus peaking, and nor do you get the focus guide. What you need to do is you press the magnify button so that you magnify the image on the back of the camera or the EVF, and you focus using the ring, and you've got to judge by eye whether you're in focus or not. If you want to use the lens in manual focus, instead of flicking a switch on the side of the lens, you've got to go into the menu, into the autofocus menu, and then change autofocus to manual focus mode. And then you will get focus peaking and the focus guide on the back of the camera or in the EVF. And you can then use the ring to manually focus, and you can easily then nail your focus. And then if you want to go back to autofocus, then you've got to go back into the menu and change back from manual focus mode to autofocus mode, which is a bit of a pain in the neck. But to be honest, how often these days do we use manual mode on these autofocus lenses? Probably not very often. Now, none of that is to denigrate this wee lens. In fact, to sum up, the RF Nifty 50 is compact, lightweight, affordable and versatile. It's a solid performer and an excellent addition to any camera bag, whether you're a beginner or an experienced photographer. In fact, I like it enough for it to have become my go-to lens for stock photography over the past few months. You can find new ones for about £220 or $220, but excellent second-hand options are available for £150 to £160 on sites like MPB, which is where I got this one. Be sure to check out the links down in the description. If you do use them, thank you very much indeed. I do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Once you've liked and subscribed, YouTube thinks that you'll love the video over here. I'll see you over in the next one.